Sorry, whatever.
Okay. Good morning, guys. All right, so in my home, whenever there's a clanking going on around the house, that means my dog is never really far behind. However, that means she's also trying to get into everything that she can find in the house. Usually she's rifling through the sock drawer, she likes to hide them, she's rolling all over the couch, and she's leaving fur everywhere while trying to get whatever it is that's outside.
Do you even know what an idiot is?
I love it.
No,
I love having a
okay.
pet, and it's just a wonderful experience. Now, how many of you guys in here have pets? Just any sort of indication. I know Mr. Kurt has a dog like mine. So you're all kind of familiar with this. Pets are really crazy, whether it's a cat or a dog. But we wouldn't have it any other way because we love our pets and they're just wonderful little things that are brought into our lives. And while we take care of our pets, we never really think of what we have to gain from them. Usually it's just for entertainment or some sort of love, but actually they take care of us almost as much as we take care of them. And I'm here to talk about why it's better to have a pet as opposed to not have a pet. Because actually owning a pet gives you both physical and mental benefits health-wise, and in the end you're just making your pet's life a lot better as well. Physically, there are a ton of benefits that you can get from owning a pet. One of the main ones, it's too late for you guys because it has to happen really early in your life, but if you've been exposed to usually the furrier animals, like the mammal kinds of pets, they will actually improve your immune system and reduce the chances of you having allergies in your life. A study done by a Bergra, she's a Finnish pediatrician, so she studies children, and she actually conducted a study with approximately 400 children from pregnancy onwards, and she noticed that in the group of children exposed to pets at such a young age, usually within the first year of life, they experienced about 19% of them having allergies, as opposed to those not exposed to pets or any other kind of furry mammal in those first years, and that's about 33%. So already, they're improving your life from day one. And it's really great if, like I said, it's too late for you guys because you're already almost fully developed, but it's great for when you're wanting to start a family. Like you said, you have a young daughter, that's a great time to introduce pets to them. Plus, they're just very sweet. Other health benefits that occur usually later in your life, aside from the immune system improvement, cardiovascular health. See, many times with stress in our life, we release norepinephrine and cortisol? That's a big word, I can't quite get, but playing with dogs and cats, it actually releases hormones such as serotonin and dopamine, which is actually also connected to a heroin high, but it's the happiness, the big stress-relieving feeling that you get from these, and those hormones are actually big helpers in relieving high blood pressure, leaving you with much better cardiovascular health. Pets also very much motivate you to exercise, go on walks. You can't say no to your little dog if they want to go out inside and play. So it also gets you a lot more motivated to exercise, which also very much helps with cardiovascular health. Now, moving on to the mental health benefits. They actually very much reduce risks of depression, because I know with my dog, they're very much just unconditional love. The only thing they really ask for you at the end of the day is just keep rubbing my head and it'll be all right. And it's that companionship and comfort that we get from these animals that kind of give us a sort of fulfillment in our life. And as I said earlier, it releases stress, so there's a lot lower risk for us to have depression. It's really great for students to have pets as well, because they do lower stress, which is really great, because I'm going to come home and I'm going to hug my dog because I'm so freaked out about finals right now. And then also they make us more sociable, and they raise our self-esteem actually. Because I know for myself, I suffer from social anxiety, so it's fairly difficult for me to go out and find strangers, say, hello, I'm so-and-so, let's start a conversation. That's very difficult for me to do because of that anxiety. I feel like I'm gonna freak them out, upset them, ruin the relationship I've ever had with them. So whenever I take my dog out on a walk, I'm somehow talking to a lot more people, whether it's little kids who want to pet the doggy or just other fellow dog enthusiasts who, oh, what a beautiful dog, that's all they really wanted to say to me. It makes me so much more confident to talk to them, and it's actually giving me something to talk with them about, because lots of times I'm at a loss for a topic. Yes. And yeah, as I said, it relieves stress and makes you much more confident and approachable. Moving on, taking care of pets not only improves your life, but it improves the life of your pet as well. Currently, right now, there's about 7.6 million cats and dogs in shelters annually. So yes, some are getting adopted, some are finding their own way out, but in the end, it's still about that same average annually, which is incredibly high. And sadly, though many dogs and cats do not get adopted, and because of this, about 2.7 million are euthanized every year. That's more than a third of the animals that are being kept in shelters right now. Because if people don't want the pets, they're considered unadoptable, so why would the shelter hold on to those? So yes, if you adopt the pets, you're not only saving them from a life in a shelter, or even worse, a temporary life in a shelter, and then so forth. Yes, you're actually giving them a home and love. And it's true that they do love you back, because dogs and cats, both of them, cats are kind of assholes, but they show the same appreciation. They actually release oxytocin when usually maintaining eye contact or in the presence of their owner. And oxytocin is the mother hormone. It's the love chemical. And it's what creates that bond between usually mother and child, sometimes romantic relationships, but yes, it is very much proof that they may not show it in the best way, especially with cats, but they do love you just as much as you love them. Okay. So, going back over what I had just discussed, pets are fantastic things to have in your life. They're so beneficial to your health, both mentally, psychologically, and physically, and you just get a great feeling out of making their life so much better as well. So, next time you're ever like pissed off at your cat or dog for like, say, pardon my language, but shitting on the rug, just know they're still helping you, despite making you do all the work. Thank you.
All right, so Robert, what did you think?
You were coughing a bit, and I guess I was, and I still wasn't sure with the dopamines and the heroin high what the pet's involvement with that one was, but I think that was more just on me. As a cat owner, yes, cats are assholes, but that's why we love them. Altogether, very nice speech, and I wasn't quite sure what the overall theme was besides pets are awesome, because you seem to, at least with the shelter part, kind of go a bit off what you were originally talking about, but you brought it back with talking about shitting on the rug and why they're still helping you. So overall, I liked your speech.
All right. It's a little bit generic in the approach to what you're talking about, and you've stayed in kind of a safe zone for a lot of your presentations because you're dealing with the animals, and it's okay. That's all right. I do think that you need to have a little bit more data in your presentation. You had early on, it sounded like you were going to be nailing this because you had information, you cited an expert and a study about exposure to animals and allergies, and I thought, okay, this sounds pretty solid. And then that's really the last time I heard a reference to any research in the material. After that, it's all just your assertion. At one point you say, well, it's proven, and I'm going, it's proven by who? I'm wondering, where did this come from? And I kind of appreciate what Robert's saying. How do we release these chemicals? What does it do? Who says that this happens? Where does this information come from? Or is this just animal lovers, giving themselves a rationalization for their inane behavior with their animals? I'm getting. It's okay for me to wrestle with the dog on the ground because it's releasing stuff that's going to make me feel better about myself as a human being. Really? What proof do you have of that? Or is it just you making up stuff to justify your behaving like a dog rolling around on the floor? That's where I think we need to have more information. And you've got a whole bunch of things that kind of fit in that category. Now, I generally believe most of the things that you're talking about, and I'm sure that there's some research on it, but it doesn't make it into the speech, and that's what it needs to be. You need to have those sorts of things. It's pretty clearly organized. I can see, the physical benefits for human beings, the mental benefits for human beings. The mental benefits, again, that's one of those places where you rely on a visualization and sometimes a personal experience on that. But let's get some other information in this. This doesn't sound like it's something that you struggled with and worked hard and spent 2 weeks researching. This sounds like, let me tell people why I like my animals and why it makes me feel good. And I think that that's okay to have in the speech, but by itself it's not enough. And so I just feel like I'm getting starved of the kind of material that ought to be in this speech at this point in the semester. You did have some statistical information in the last part about the pets who end up in shelters and are being euthanized. And I thought, oh, good, that's good. You do want to give us a source citation on that information. I think your numbers are probably accurate. I'm sure you read them someplace. But you could be doing an impromptu speech and just pull numbers out of the hat and stick them in there, and I wouldn't know, except that I trust you because you've been in class, and I know you're an animal lover, and I don't think that you're lying to us deliberately. But in another context, we'd be going, well, really? That many? That sounds like a lot. And people might have their doubts about those kinds of things. But if you can say, according to the American Humane Association or according to the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, what's that? Yeah, and I know that you got the information from someplace. Like I said, I didn't think that you were making it up. Just, you got to get in the habit of doing that. And that seems like it's a little bit of a problem. Delivery things, for the most part, you do a pretty good job. I mean, you usually look at us, but sometimes you get a little distracted thinking about the next thing. You occasionally have anxious moments when you're transitioning. I think you know that those are happening when they're happening. I think you can even notice. To me, the thing that is most problematic about your presentation aren't the visual things. It's all timing kind of stuff. It seems like it doesn't always flow naturally. You're having to stop in an awkward place and sometimes think about what you're saying or readjust what your thinking is on an issue. It's not coming out as naturally as it could, and so that's the thing that is the tip-off to any anxiety more than anything else, I think. So that's something that would be better with more practice. The more you practice, the more natural it is, the more you've done it, the easier it comes across. In class, for instance, I frequently feel like I'm talking about something that I've talked about 100 times before, and I'm glad because that makes it so much easier to talk to people about it. I don't have to think about things. I don't have to, and I can just get through the material so much easier. If somebody asks a question, then I have to kind of change what I'm doing. But you know, you've heard that kind of stuff where it just goes, and you say, how do people do that? Well, they do it because they've done it lots and lots of times, and that's sort of where you need to be. All right, thank you.